Good morning, guys. There is a lot to get done today, and I'm feeling exhausted just thinking about it. I've got to make a big batch of tomato sauce finally. I need to plant some transplants out in the garden, and then there's a bunch of other little stuff that, like, if I can get to it, I absolutely want to. And so I was hoping that you guys would keep me company today while I do all of that. I just noticed that you can see Kata's little fluffy butt poking out behind my shoulder. She's like splooted on the table looking out the window. So cute. So anyways, I'm gonna eat some breakfast and I will meet you guys in the kitchen when I'm done. Right now, my tomatoes are frozen solid. We're gonna start heating them up. So I used to be more careful about actually chopping up my tomatoes and even coring them before I would start the sauce making process. But now that I have an electric food mill, that actually isn't even really necessary at all. I freeze my tomatoes whole and then, just dump them in here. They're gonna get cooked down until they're like absolute mush, and then we're gonna put them through the food mill. Now, today I'm not actually gonna go over the specifics of how I'm making sauce. If you are interested in that, I will put a link down below to the video that I've already made with all of the specifics on how I make my tomato sauce and then go through the process of canning that. So while that's going, I am actually going to start the process of getting the tannins out of these acorns. I finally finished cracking them. I picked these up last year and they've just been kind of sitting in a bowl ever since. So we are going to grind these up and then I'm going to start running water through them to get the tannins out so that they're not so bitter. If y'all didn't already know, foraging is another hobby of mine. I think it ties into food very nicely. It feels like gardening, but without all of the taking care of the plants part. All right, so that's just gonna sit there for a few hours and then I will kind of repeat that rinsing process, and I'll have to change out the water a few times, but eventually what I'm trying to do is get it to where they don't taste bitter. We're soaking all the tannins out. And in the meantime, our tomatoes have started to melt, I guess. Definitely, there's still, the bigger ones are a bit of a hockey puck in there, but this is gonna be a while, so I think it's about time to go outside. So I am not sure I am actually fully prepared for how much work this is about to be, because I've got all these plants here that need to get planted out. But in addition to actually putting them in the ground, I have to A, figure out where they're gonna go, and B, actually prepare those spots, because right now I definitely have a lot of stuff still growing out here. So I'm gonna have to figure out if I can put it in between stuff, or if I'm gonna like start making those fall sacrifices where you pull out stuff that's technically still producing but kind of on the way out. And we're just gonna try and see if we can get everything to fit. Some of the stuff that I have here, I have some onions. I have mountain multiplier onions and Welsh onions that I grew from seed, and they look only okay. I also have some spinach. This is a pigeon pea that must have been a leftover seed from the last seed starting endeavor that I did earlier this year. That's some more spinach over there. All of these are different brassicas. We've got like kohlrabi and broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and then the curly stuff all the way up there is all of my kale. And this empty half over here, it was supposed to be lettuce, but somehow they all came up and kind of died. Well, not even that all of them came up. Most of them didn't even sprout. And the ones that did are just very, very unhappy. So I'm going to try and direct seed some lettuce as well. If you guys made it to this point in the video, I am going to need some encouragement from y'all in the comments. If you just comment, "You can do it," I will imagine that I'm already reading those comments, and that will give me the motivation to get through this. Okay, section 1 done. Now I just need to water it in, and I get to use my new rain barrel. If you haven't seen it yet, I've got the singular gutter on my house connected to my rain barrel, which has a hose that goes downhill to the garden. I can fill up my little watering can and then take the water over to where I need it. Alright, so that's the easy section done. I had already cleared that because I had dug potatoes from that a couple weeks ago. And now we have to kind of decide where everything else is going to go. So over here, I still have sorghum that I'm waiting for that to be done. This whole row here, this is eggplant and peppers that are kind of like just now coming into their prime. Eggplant and peppers are like the plants in my area actually that will keep producing very, very well all the way up until frost. Although maybe at the back of that row, there are a few plants that I actually don't really like. They're not doing well. I might go ahead and cut those out and have maybe another like 4, 5, 6 foot section if I'm lucky back there to put a few plants in. And then obviously all the tomatoes are like essentially done, but they're kind of up on this trellis, right? And then blocking them is a bunch of basil on either side, which I could go ahead and take out, but I would have to do that on a day where I'm like fully ready, prepared to process all of that basil into pesto, because I'm not about to waste all of it. And that's like a 2 minimum hour process, maybe 3. So definitely don't have time for that today. But I think we're gonna start with that back section and see what we can fit in there. There's also technically this section back here where all the corn is done and dead. But what I actually did was I planted southern peas in between all my corn, and those are actually still using the corn as trellising and making beans for me. So I'm going to put off taking that out if I can. Oh goodness, it is really quite hot out there. It apparently is getting up to 90 today, and I am not sure I can handle that. I think I might have to finish that up another day, but there's plenty of stuff to do inside. So I'm gonna go change my clothes and then I will meet you back here. Okay, so the tomatoes, they are about ready to go through the electric food mill. So now I have to clear space on my counter and make that happen. Right, and now we've got our very watery sauce. And it is time to leave it to reduce. I am thinking I'm gonna want to reduce this by at least half. And that'll take at least a couple hours, maybe more. So we're looking at being done by like, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m., something like that. It's also time to change out the water on the acorns. All right, we've been reducing for 2 hours. I took a shower. Let's see how the tomato sauce is doing. Definitely getting there, but still very wet. Now I am gonna have to leave soon. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start letting it cool off so I can put it in a container, go ahead and fridge it overnight, and then tomorrow I'll heat it back up, finish reducing it, and then go ahead and can it from there. So thank you guys so much for keeping me company today. If you want to watch more vlogs like this, I'll go ahead and link a playlist right up here for you, and I will see you in the next one. But until then, I wish you happy gardening.